What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think we could do something like that. Banners, weeks. I'm pretty sure the next one could possibly just be 240 weight with no any sort of bonus this week. That's one of the ones that they missed. I could also look ahead, and there's a few other things that are coming up, but I think they might go back to just doing week, was it 62 in Japan?
Should I say podcast is almost live? Anyone
Should be
from
live
here
now. I don't know.
can join as a guest if they want.
You guys can hear me. Let's see if the
You said we can get
audio
an
input
AW guest if they're interested.
audio input capture microphone entrance. Yeah, so it's not on the default. Good. Don't want it to be on the default. Otherwise, I run into problems. Seems like. Here we go. Now I can somewhat hear myself. Sound kind of loud, but whatever. All right, there we go. Hey, we got Judge. How's it going, man? All right, how'd we all do last this week though? In the meantime,
This was an especially rough week for me. I lost 16, which is pretty unusual. Usually, I'm used to making dumb mistakes and losing eight, but this week, I honestly, it was one of those weeks where I lost 16, and I didn't even feel like I made any really dumb mistakes. It was just my buckets to filter through were like Starfall members, ZTH members, TWR members. So it was one of those weeks where there was no winning.
mm,
But to make up for that, my luck this event has been insane. Like I think Pack has been waiting for a banner ticket pull for a while, and then recently
10
on
months.
tickets, I've gotten Diamond Slime, two Barbs, and one Gray. So that's four banner units on tickets in within 1 month. I guess less than 1 month. So I'm on a bit of a lucky streak now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I like joking around and doing the whole conspiracy theory thing because it's fun. Because it's like you might as well. Because you can't see what's happening on their end, so it's. I gotta. If I do that, I gotta like make fun of myself while I'm doing it because obviously I can't just throw crazy conspiracy theories unless if I have like a tin hat on or something, so I could satirize myself as I'm doing it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how long I could go without getting anything with tickets before I cry, wolf, and be like, there's something afoot here.
Yeah,
Uh,
just give him Trop as
two
an example.
years?
Be
Can,
like,
can I get at least 2 years? If I don't get anything for 2 years, can I then say something's up? Will you give me that? No, not a large sample size enough for you guys. No.
Uh, Not while you're still getting banner units at 3K gems.
Well, the gems and the
yeah,
tickets are separate. And after I got two in a row with 3K gems, you saw the game was like, okay, now we'll take you to your first ever pity at 45. I've never taken any. I mean, technically, if Seraphy could have gone to 45, I would have pulled her to 45, right? But there was no pity back then at 45, so I wouldn't have gone that far. But yeah, Seraphy's the only unit that I pulled 30k on and got like nothing. As far as like the actual banner unit's concerned, I think. I'm not sure. I think. Um, did I pull on Sorrow? I don't know. All I know is I got Sorrow from the ticket, not from his actual banner. With gems and whatnot. But my gem pulls are all right, and my still technically average as far as a little above average, and then my ticket pulls have been well under average. 6. I'm getting close to 700. I'm getting pretty close to 700 tickets with nothing. So we'll see. But yeah. So this week was I was satirizing myself as I was doing it. 6 out of the 7 days I was pretty much night pack the whole time. So I even reflected that in my thumbnail. I think the first day I did them on time, and you know it's bots and whatnot. You're not gonna lose points. But yeah, the whole week I lost a match, guys, and then I lost a whole bunch of units. Let's read the chat though. Your live sup. Hi everyone. Number 1 pack pulled gotcha. Oh, okay, that's where all my luck went. Apparently is to Gotcha Queen. We should have her tune in. Trop over here getting lucky. She did?
Post Grain Oil, right?
Oh yeah, she got lucky with that. I congratulated her on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Trop over here getting lucky was incredibly unlucky. Yeah. Yeah, we already got that. Oh, burned up all your good luck by being born handsome. Okay, so there's apparently you get ugly privilege, just like the Dark Lords in this game. You pretty much get ugly privilege. The uglier you are, the luckier you are, and you know the more powerful you are in the game. So, I guess that justifies me having terrible ticket luck right there. So, Sar Peter's absolutely right. That's probably why
DLTF is pretty handsome.
That's why probably a lot of us get bad luck in the game is because you know we're the whole lot of us are too good looking. So, there's that. Things have turned since Mordegon. Just because you don't like a unit doesn't mean it's not lucky. Oh yeah. Oh right, you did not count Mordegon. You didn't count Mordegon at all.
That unit.
That's funny.
I got free Mordegon, but I never used them. But it is lucky. It's true. Maybe for the other 10 people that were trying to get Mordegon and didn't get them, that was pretty lucky.
I think Peter's really trying hard to make me blush here. Look at that. The whole watch. I mean, he has all of us blushing. I guess you can't see because the rest of them have their cameras off, but yeah.
Okay, 1 sec. I'll be right back.
We won't miss you. We're not missing much. He doesn't talk much, but then he announces his departure. Okay.
He'll announce his return in like 2 or 3 podcasts.
Okay. Yeah. It's one of those. Yeah, I think this is probably the map that we're gonna see. This is what JP had for. Again, let me double check, but it was week 62, I think, for them, roughly. Must have been. Okay, so 59, 60, 61. This is week 61 for Japan, their map. We already had week 60, I don't know, 4 and 5 happen. I probably should check what week 66 is, because they might skip this one too, for all I know. But this may as well be the map that we get. All right, so since we don't really get to have much of a podcast, we get to say would definitely like for us to have notifications ahead of time. This could just be a free open message to Malcolm, but you know, like we used to get with the arena notices and in the notices or in the schedule, that has not been used. So the schedule has literally been everything this weekend prior rather than this weekend the next. So let me see, am I getting chats here? Metazoa has been teasing new. Okay. Oh yeah, Metazoa is gonna have a podcast. I should announce that. But let's go back to the chat here. DQ8 music, yes. Has to look at himself in the mirror. Okay. Yeah. So I'd like to see concurrent weeks running, as well as getting notified again. Finally, that we're, you know, what the next week ahead of us is for a change. But assuming that we are 240 weight, are there any new units coming out this week, Celery, that you know of? Celery?
Yeah. Are we? I don't know. I don't keep track of the order of events. I just kind of let it all catch me by surprise.
So,
but I do assume that we're getting.
Which Corvus?
Is it Corvus that comes first, or is it King Godwin?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question.
I,
and do both Corvus come out at the same time, or do they come one after the other?
I think they come one after the other. I'm pretty sure Demon Corvus or Fallen Angel is the last one, and then I think regular Corvus is before him, and I think Aces said King Godwin is the next one. So that's who I'm expecting to be the next unit. I don't know for sure it's this week, but that's my assumption, is because usually the events come out, each part comes out each week.
Yeah, because the dragons came.
Good to hear that everyone can hear me now, so that confirms it was my old phone or potentially 4G. My old phone didn't have 5G. My new phone does have 5G. So.
Yeah, so the Starbucks jokes have been retired officially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we lost our guest. What happened?
Yeah.
Judge was just here a second ago, but now he's gone. Oh,
yep.
Well.
Yeah, and speaking of the Starbucks jokes, hopefully the final disconnect happened this past week. So I, like Trop, had -16, but like Pack had a loss, in my case, due to disconnect. It was actually in the middle of the match, which is the first... Yes. It's the first I've heard of that happening.
It didn't let you resume?
It did not let me resume. It was like I can't remember. I think it was a sorrow. It was, I all my units had gone, and then it was a sorrow, and then there was an Alina who, of course, was going to go first the next turn, and it crashed either on the sorrow or the Alina's turn. I don't remember which. And then didn't let me resume, even though it was very much in the middle of the match, not when hitting, initially entering the match, which is where I'd seen it before, or when hitting start after setting all your positions, where I'd also seen it before. So that was a new and interesting data point that cost me, got me another bronze trophy. So, been racking those up.
Well, at least now we know, because back when I got it, it was like the cause was very unknown. I guess it's just like if the app crashes, I guess, which can be used due to like phone or I don't know, because it has to be something, right? It's some consistency with your phone that's causing it.
Yeah, it must be something, causing a desync between the app and the server.
It's strange, because you saw the test that I did, right, Celery? Like trying to time the turning off the Wi-Fi thing. I think.
Yeah, I think it has to be.
I have to physically turn off my router rather than the connection on my phone. I should try that next time. And I don't know if it works for unranked matches. Maybe the game is more forgiving about letting you back into an unranked match, but I don't know. Maybe this happens on even PvE as well. This disconnect, does it?
I'm sure it does. It's just, I guess, not as noticeable, or you don't care.
I thought it was like a protection that they had in place so people don't cheat and abuse it for Arena. Like if it didn't disconnect you, like you disconnect, but you get to go back into the match and cheat, essentially. I thought that's what it was there for, but all right, see you, Knock. But I'm not too sure. At least we're narrowing it down what it could be. I might have to just do a stream again, where I physically turn off the Wi-Fi.
Because you're like forcing it and you can't even get it, and then me and Celery, it's just like
No,
another day.
yeah, because I forced it on my phone, but I never forced it through the router, which I'm going to try next. Maybe. Elena crit his phone and evaded all the troubleshooting.
Give me your place. Give me your place.
So, the sad thing is we don't know what this week is, other than it could be this map with no bonus. And it could be 240 weight. Godwin is coming out, and is it the Godwin's true form, or is it, which version of Godwin is this? There's only one that came out, right?
There's no other playable Godwin.
But it has a long name, so there could, in theory, be another playable Godwin in the future. But this is the one that blows up. Like King Godwin or something?
Yeah, that's the name that we've received.
I've seen him in the event. You fight him in the event.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah. Here's the thing. Usually, when we get a new arena week and there's no bonus, I just talk about the new unit that's coming out, how that might shift the meta. What do we know about Godwin? He's not going to make any changes for this week than what we already have. So we could discuss permutations, let's say for 225 and then 240. I should have had a chart ready for this. I didn't. Next time I'm going to have it so that the map here on the left gets switched out for the permutations. And you could take a look at them as I'm talking about them, but we'll have that visual next week. But what are the permutations for 240? And we'll give 225 just in case right after this. But, you know, there's no hero specific, you know, it's just a standard 240 week or two, you know.
Yeah.
Go for it.
240. So 4 50 weights and an A rank. 3 50 weights, a 65 weight, and a B rank. Could also be.
Could also be what? He cut out there. I thought the Starbucks thing was done. What's going on? Let's see.
We just gotta wait a second for R2D2 to pop back in.
He's not muted, and he never sounds artifacted anymore, right? Where it does that weird artifacting with his audio. So that's good, but he just cut out completely this time. Oh, he left. He's probably going to come back. Alright, let's see.
Alright. Can you hear me again?
Yeah, crystal clear.
Alright. I don't think it was my connection. I think it might have been something with, like, the phone going to sleep.
Oh, auto sleep? I thought the microphone still is on when it's in screen lock mode or whatever for Discord.
Yeah, and, so I usually keep the the stream up, but I have it paused. So if I don't click anything for a while, it just goes to sleep.
Is that like for saving battery? So there's features in phones where it's either always on, but there's also runs the app in the background, and there's picture-in-picture mode.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I can change the sleep timer. I've had the phone for like an hour and a half.
Gotcha. You could also just set it so Discord has the permission to run in the background, so that one at least never turns off, even when the screen goes dark.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So 450 weights and an A rank, 350 weights and a hero or Dark Lord and a B rank, which is my new favorite comp to run because it lets me run Sorrow and Damselfly. And I just run those two for every single matchup, no matter what, and just see what happens. And what happens is usually victory.
I don't have Burning Breath yet for my Damselfly, so
Yeah, that sounds like a personal problem.
Well, I already used all my.
Yeah, used it on Spikegeist, which
Yeah, but he's not
I
max awakened yet, so I gotta go back and farm him
yeah,
once when we get a campaign.
right.
It's 4
Yeah,
weeks.
with Burning Breath on Damselfly, there's so many matchups where he's just the best option as a B rank.
Yeah, it's not even his
crazy.
confusion breath. It's literally the burning breath. Like if he had a C rank
Well,
breath.
it's the combination. It's the combination.
Well,
because there's a lot of units, and I know that his confusion breath isn't guaranteed against bloomed units.
Like literally, it would have been objectively better if they gave him a C rank confusion breath rather than the B rank one, because the B rank one has the secondary whatever, the blind.
Yeah, it only gets up to 50%, which is real unfortunate. But
yeah,
and I learned fairly well coaching Judge over the week. There's almost always a when you're running dual and Damselfly, you almost always have
an unbloomed unit that you can get 100% chance of confusion.
Basically, most I do the confusion, but I think almost every time, even this week, which was physical boost and no HP boost, Alina wasn't getting any kills as long as you had duel available to taunt her away. And even like a Trailblazer didn't kill Damselfly without a crit. So there was.
So you took a crit risk this week.
What's up?
You took a crit risk this week to a Trailblazer for your Damselfly?
At some point, I'm sure I did. Which wasn't like an intentional crit risk, just a confusion failed crit risk.
Gotcha.
So, it's like a 10% chance or something of confusion failing against a max bloomed unit. So, happens. But it's just not. It's not a very. It's basically the same as a 1% chance. If you have a 10% chance of your confusion failing and a 10% chance of getting crit, then the chance of both happening is a 1% chance.
Mm-hmm.
So, same as taking a crit risk from from just a calculated crit risk on a regular unit, like say a Yangus.
So, we don't have.
Just quickly.
Go ahead.
Just to make sure about something. You guys said that throughout the course of the game we've gotten 2 burning breaths, right?
Yep. Just look through your units. Just look through your units.
I keep checking. Dude, I for the life of me cannot figure out
what
my
go in
second
order
burning breath
from start to just swipe left. You could swipe, right? You could swipe instead of clicking the arrow. So swipe through your units in your box until you find it. You may have given it to a unit and then you replaced it with Zapple or something.
I don't
maybe
think I would have had to be pretty beginner, but
maybe you were. Maybe your DLTF once had a burning breath. Who knows?
I'll have to check. I literally don't know who I gave that scroll to. I'm like, okay, maybe I gave it to the cub or something. I look at the cub, I look at all my A ranks. I'm like, I didn't give it to any of these guys. Who the hell did I give the first burning breath to? But from what I heard, anyways, we get another burning breath scroll with 1.5 anniversary, which should be my chance to correct my mistake and put it on Damselfly. So
I'll have to think about putting it on Damselfly.
It's really good on Damselfly.
Even if you don't use the confusion breath, I'm sure it's better on Damselfly. Like, he's better at using it than Spikegeist is. The only reason to use Spikegeist is so you have the double option for the sleep, the snooze, and the 100% chance snooze, because you could actually get the 100% chance with the snooze. Kafizzle's a tough one, isn't it? If I
Kafizzle
Kafizzle
is so
Sorrow,
close to useless.
if I could
It's-
Kafizzle Sorrow and then, let's say, at the same time paralyze him, then my Spike Geist can run away, and then I suppose he would be using Discontinuum on Dole, which he kind of already would have done if I played it right. You know, it's very, very niche. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part about Kafizzle is that it really all it does for you is it opens up positioning options because you no longer have to worry about Sorrow going for the Crimson Cuts on a combination of units, but other than of course the more niche cases where a Sorrow might have max Crimson Cuts but not max Discontinuum and stuff like that. There are some cases you can make it to where Crimson Cuts kills but Discontinuum doesn't, but that's maybe 10% of cases, if that many. There's most of the time, the vast majority of the time, you're going to be seeing Discontinuum kill duels. I have not run the number. Actually, am I still okay? It went to sleep again. Let me make sure you're just still hearing me.
I can hear you. Just
all right, excellent. So I haven't run the numbers, so I don't know how rank 8 changes that, because I did take my duel to rank 8, and of course I took my Sorrow to rank 8. So I haven't run or seen the numbers run for how rank 8 affects the Discontinuum versus. Really, it's just the ability of Discontinuum to one shot, because that's the. So, but yeah, Damselfly. It's part of it. I do think is my play style. I really love dragons have high base stats. So Damselfly has really high HP, really high agility, and you can tailor his with equipment. You can tailor it to fit your needs fairly precisely, and that's why, like I said, Damselfly, he can take a hit, he can take a neutral hit from just about anything. Nothing's one-shotting him at neutral, as long as you're not built with 0 HP. Like, I think if you had claws and a jacket, he might die to some of the strong neutrals, but he's got a good chunk of HP. He easily got over 1,000 this week with no HP boost. With my, I was running, what was it, like jacket and my D Baron sword, which is 2 HP, 1 agility, and he was at like 493 agility and like 1,090 HP. So. With no HP boost in arena, so very, very solid stats on B rank with going along with his whole kit.
He's like Gremlin, but upgraded.
Yep. Oh yeah. Judge got probably like 14 kills with Damselfly this week. There was just so many times that something was left with less than 192 HP, or maybe it was 172, and he finished off a ton of units. A lot of them, of course, were Sorrow. Like, you proc Sorrow's immortal, and then you finish him off with Damselfly. But there was a good number of other ones where it's just like, oh, it's just low enough.
Yeah, I could see that. Firebird, too. Firebird could probably finish a few people off. If we ended up getting 2 Burning Breath scrolls, I would probably give him one as well. Or you could go the Zapple route, the Trop DLTF route. You know, give him elemental coverage and with a little bit of range on it at the same time.
Firebird has
he has a higher
lower
damage.
stats.
It's the same breath.
He does have higher damage. He has a better breath. He has Incinerate.
Incinerate and Fiery Breath have the same damage calc. It just has more tiles that it hits. But he has the 10% from the passive in the Blossom. Plus, there's also, I guess, he gets Frizz Breath in the Blossom.
Yeah,
just like general Frizz Breath, potency, and
the standard 6%.
Exactly. Yeah, the standard 6%, and then he gets the 10% as well. So his will inevitably hit a little bit harder. So if you do want to finish a few people off and you only need to do Burning Breath, you could give it to him. So that's an option.
I will say that Fiery Breath does not, like I said, I think mine hits for 190 at plus 10. It is, that's neutral. 190 at plus 10.
It should still hit harder than Damselfly.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm just saying, like, even plus 16% to that, you're talking about, like, maybe 210, give or take.
Well, 16%, some of that is, potency, but some of it's also brilliant.
Yeah,
right?
3 and 3.
Yeah, 3 and 3. So if you wanted the full 6%, it would have had to been on an opponent. He was brilliant, too, so...
Yeah,
wouldn't quite...
brilliant, I think he'll hit okay. But no, I think the main argument for using Firebird is taking advantage of that follow-up. Have you
maxed the nodes, though, on him? Have you maxed them yet?
I haven't bloomed him.
What's his awakening at for you?
Oh, I've got him maxed.
Awaken Plus and everything?
Not Awaken Plus. I don't know.
But that's not going to change the damage. I was just asking.
I've got him max Awaken, and then I'm sure I've got some Awaken points. I just haven't used them yet.
My main negative for him is that he's just too slow. I don't mind that he's missing Confusion Breath like Damselfly has. He just lacks the HP and agility that Damselfly has. Yeah. And then...
he's fast enough, but not without claws. He can get
which means
over
you're going to lack
agility.
HP. Exactly, so you're going to lack HP because you're not going to give him a sword.
Like, I think mine at, whatever the new max is, 110. At 110, max Awaken with no HP gear outside of Arena, I think mine was like 600 and something. I don't remember if it was 680 or 618. But it's in the mid 600s, and that's really low HP.
Considering he got blossoming nodes for it too, which
so that's
pretty surprising. His stats are just spread too far. He has a little bit in the wisdom, a little bit in the attack, a little bit in everything. So that's why he's so weird.
So I think I like I said, I'm pretty sure that doesn't count. I haven't done all of the Blossom stuff yet. So, but I also think he only gets 50 HP from Blossom. I don't think there's any other.
No, yeah, B ranks don't get much. They're little nodes.
Maybe
the big nodes don't even give as much HP as.
He does get some big nodes. I don't know if they're HP, but they are only 20 each. Whatever stat they gave, I looked at them and they were only 20. They might be HP, so that would be 90 total extra HP.
Pretty much.
It's like he's a high risk, high reward because he can be fast enough that you can outspeed at least low awake sorrows, and then he opens up an action. And of course, Arena, a lot of it is about action economy. So if you no longer need a unit to finish off Sorrow, that's a pretty big benefit. There's just a a fairly reasonable sized associated cost in the form of can you take advantage of that benefit while keeping Firebird alive? because it doesn't help you a whole lot if Firebird dies significantly more than Damselfly would. While you're utilizing his follow-up to take out enemy sorrows, but then losing Firebird to, say Duel. Like, I'm pretty sure Duel can one-shot Firebird. So, just, which he cannot get even close to one-shotting Damselfly, so it's something to consider when you're looking at what counter units, especially what you're going to use your Birding Breath scroll on is.
The goal would be to give him one only after you've given Damselfly one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's a really solid next option. But yeah, I do think Damselfly, especially having used him so much this past week, I do think Damselfly is the best option.
Yeah. When do you think we're gonna get a confusion scroll? C rank scroll.
I mean, we've got Fuddle, but
we got Fuddle, single target, and can be reflected, I suppose. Are there any units that can get confused that can reflect? Santa Elena, maybe?
Annalena.
Is she weak to confusion?
She is.
Okay. So yeah, Fuddle's objectively worse, I guess, in that kind of instance, until we get the breath reflectability, whatever it's called. Imagine a unit, physical, spell, breath, martial, reflect, and it's like, okay, how do I hit this guy? Oh, it's cool. He has moves that penetrate all the reflects. Okay, so what do they do for the defensive units? They have an ability that reflects the penetration. And then they come up with another penetration to penetrate the reflection of the penetration.
Yeah, it's not even, it's barely hyperbole. Because, all the way back at Sorrow 1.0, we got Sorrow, and then, a few months later, we get Maribel with maybe, not long after the Sorrow banner went away, when we get Maribel, and she has a spell, she's Frizz, and has a spell that doesn't get reflected. And then later on we get Duel, and then we get multiple units that have attacks that are not breaths and not spells, or they are spells but they're unreflectable and they scale off of attacks. So really they're just undodgeable physical attacks with some slightly different scaling. And then they decided that wasn't even enough. So now coming up with Fallen Angel Corvus and Dark Anlucia, one of the Anlucias, we're getting undodgeable physical attacks. So that's
one I've been waiting for.
The only weakness of physical, and you remove it.
Undodgeable. So even agility, not just the evasion passives, right? Just actual missing.
Well, I don't know if that's been confirmed or not, because it could say ignore. I think it's translated as it always hits. I don't know if when we actually get it, if it will be it ignores evasion or it always hits, because there are separate. I don't know. The evasion and agility interaction is in terms of misses. I remember hearing they were separate rolls, but I also remember hearing that they did tests and they found that high enough agility cut into the evasion. So they were hitting, instead of missing 40% of the time on, or 20% of the time on something with evasion, with enough agility, they were only missing 16% of the time. So, it may or may not If I had to guess, I think it will always hit. I think it won't be able to be missed due to agility, but there is, of course, always the option that it could say ignores evasion, and then it still checks the agility. It just ignores the evasion part of their kit. It doesn't ignore the agility consideration for hit percent.
So we talked about some of the support units, in the B ranks, namely, and getting the Burning Breath scroll for 1.5. Is there, in the current meta, now that we know that, let's say, assuming there's no bonus this week, with the current lineup of units available, what is the strongest kind of box and team to be running for a 240 week? What is the meta? Where have we arrived?
I mean,
we have Stella now and a few other units since a while ago.
So you need a way to handle sorrow. There's in terms of if we're looking at what you want to run. That's one of the reasons we talk about the Burning Breath scroll, is because you need a way to handle sorrow, which means that you need something to paralyze him. That something needs to be able to paralyze either fast or with breath or both. I guess breath or spell, because he, if you try and hit him, say with Bloom Malroth. He could dodge it if he's already had his turn. So that's not a reliable way of handling sorrow. So that's one thing. You need a way to paralyze. You need damage enough to take out sorrow, because he's got a very high health pool. And so you need to be able to hit him at least twice, possibly 3 times, bringing him down to his perk, and then something else to finish him off after he procs his perk. There are a few units that can bring him straight down to his perk if you are running, say, Purvis or Juliante, Purvis post-bloom, or Juliante.
If Bianca was in range this week, she could actually do it.
Yeah, I don't count boosted weeks in terms of what because...
Or if you do pull in Sorrow with a very fast Olmegus, Bianca probably could finish him off. I think.
Yeah, that's
because otherwise she just doesn't have the range, and you'd have to build her with a shit ton of agility. But it's possible.
I mean, I feel like she's pretty fast. Like, if
I guess minus 1 awake, and that's probably the problem.
Like, a 1 awake unit isn't a great plan for handling a sorrow, unless it's Juliante or Bloom Purvis, because they have that agility boost perk.
Mm-hmm.
So they can actually still function at that lower awakening and do their job. Because if you're planning to kill him, and a lot of the good options for killing him are physical, and that means you need to do it before his turn on turn 1, which really limits the options there. So because of that, my preferred way of handling him is running a just very fast team. I'm still running KSS, and you just jump and cleave, and usually, and then paralyze Sorrow with Damselfly. Towards the end of my agility order, but hopefully still before he goes.
Wasn't it hard to use KSS during Hero Week, given the position of the pillars on the tiles?
Duel really opened up a lot of jump options, because you could pull units forward and then let KSS jump in between them.
So I assume you've been running him with Beastmaster Claw instead of his normal.
Yes, yep. I've been running duel with Beastmaster Claw in order to outspeed. If you have a higher awakening duel, then that's not something that you can probably get away with running his claw, even if it's not rolled for agility, depending on how high awakened.
There's probably some guy out there that makes sure that each one of his regular equipment, his weapons, has just one roll of agility, so his will outspeed an equivalent. And he might throw you off one of these days.
I mean, I've got duel as my fastest, so it doesn't really matter. I've got duel as my fastest on my team, and Damselfly as my slowest, and I keep the agilities like fairly bunched. I try and keep them all as close as possible, while maintaining those two in their positions. And if I happen to be outsped, like, say someone puts a Beastmaster Claw on their Sorrow and it outspeeds, then I just bait it, or, I let him go first, and then I do the same thing, except now I've got an evasion chance on my physical and martial moves. But if he's slower, if he's faster than Damselfly, then I can paralyze with duel, and I lose the ability to pull, but I still have the ability to engage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's worked out pretty well.
So a unit like Stella, now we have, a few new units. We have Stella, obviously we've had Sorrow for a bit now, and Greynarl. He's a new unit, and so is Barbarous, Barnabas, I don't know what he is. Barnabas. Barbarous. You guys, I know Trop managed to pull him. He's used him on JP, so maybe he could chime in. This is your chance to shine, Trop. Yes. Hey, there we go.
There we go.
So, but really quick question posed at the both of you. We all know I'm not getting anything with my tickets anyway. But assuming that my luck, magically turned around, am I spending my TAC ticket trying to get Diamond Slime, or am I trying to spend it for Greynarl? And I don't mind, boosting the support for the Guild v Guild. I don't mind that. So that's that. I don't know if a One Awake would be enough, but so yeah, posing the question at you guys. I mean, my bots doesn't.
Diamond Slime for that, because for the dragons, you got to have a good dragon core, anyways. Like Greynarl's good, but he's even better with the dragon leadership.
Well, I would just bring GD for the dragon leadership. I have dragon leadership.
Okay, I guess that's fair. Yeah, GD. Yeah,
right,
maybe even Dimension. Like I'm debating ranking up and using Dimension. I don't know, because these dragons are.
Just wait until he gets his bloom,
slow.
right? Just wait for his bloom. He's worth ranking up and.
Yeah, I gotta wait for his bloom, and I gotta wait for Dimension Dragon's bloom. But there could be a more interesting strategy with these dragons for sure, because they actually seem to be a little bit slower. So could maybe bait with duel and use dragons for everything else, or just let them come to you. But I think it's still going to be very strong.
So post. Let's just say the question's posed at you now, Celery. What do you think between Greynarl and Diamond Slime here? If I was to pull tickets, because I don't have either.
Yeah, I think it, like Trop said, Greynarl is best if you are willing to invest in that dragon core. Dimension Dragon post bloom is really solid for specifically Bang. He's basically mono element because his crack dash does very low damage, because you're generally not putting a like flail or something on him. Maybe with flail it's like mediocre damage because he also doesn't. He's got a solid base attack, but you're using a dragon breath leadership, and you're usually putting agility on him because he's a bit slow when he's low awakened. But yeah, that's really what it boils down to for going for Greynarl is, are you going to take Dimension Dragon, possibly Barbarous, because the dragon team is becoming now that the last two pieces are there, it's more and more of a like targeting weaknesses team comp, where you're running Greynarl probably all the time, and Great Dragon probably all the time, though you could swap him out if it was a heavy crack resist team. You could swap him out with Dimension, but the issue is crack resist is very often paired with bang resist. So a lot of times it doesn't do you a whole lot of good swapping between the two. But yeah, just being able to swap in each different dragon for hitting weaknesses. Like Trop said, the dragons being a bit slower does open up more of the debate.
Is the Greynarl that slow? And how slow is
I don't know.
I'd have to check again. I'm just finishing them up on the battle roads, but I think in the 120s I saw that his agility was like 430 or something with his dagger. But I think that was before I got the awakening too, so it might have jumped up to like 450, 460 now, which is
similar to the max awake like halberd or something.
Max awake halberd is like 380 or something.
380, but with his claw and like a jacket, he's like at 420 or 30 for me. So the one awake Greynarl's kind of there, you said?
Yeah, kind of seems the same maybe as a full awakened halberd. I think these dragons were built more tanky, so they probably sacrificed a bit of agility knowing they can't miss anyways, and just built them a bit more tanky.
Makes sense if you do get the what do you call it? The dragon scale ability for healing.
Yeah, although that's at 5 awaken, I don't think I'm getting that one. But
not yet.
It is good with that.
Not yet, anyway.
Not yet, yeah. I just need 5 more tickets.
Yeah, but on the other hand of the equation, Diamond Slime is much more of a just slot in wherever. He's the first typeless tank because of his hard metal body. He even hits fairly hard with his adamant cannon. He's the only 3 move tank, so he's I think I think we'll find out how, because I haven't done any arena testing, so I don't know how easy or hard to deal with he is at low awakenings. Because the question of, is he worth it at low awakenings versus some other 50 weight unit? That's something we haven't come to a solid consensus on.
So which do I pull on?
Which one should you pull on?
Tickets.
I think Diamond Slime is better for general use. Like I said, I think Greynarl only if you're really wanting to lean into dragon stuff.
I will get CGM, but not as a dragon breath kind of thing. Just as a general leadership to have. It would be good with hybrid. It might be good with a few of the other breath units I have.
Yeah, CGM. The pairing of Zap and Frizz on Greynarl is really good for offense. Uh, yeah, if you're looking at CGM that is, a good point toward Graynarl. But I don't think you're probably running Graynarl and Firebird in most comps. Might be occasionally, but...
Is there any threat from Graynarl this week? If I face him in arena, or if anyone faces him, anything we should look out for? Or is he going to be not quite like a Sorrow in difficulty to handle?
I mean, he's going to be easier to take out for sure, but don't underestimate how much his breaths can do. Even at 1 Awaken, my rolls aren't perfect. I'm doing quite a bit. So, once we get that CGM boost, once I perfect my rolls, which maybe once I get more gold or something, farm the weapons too. And once, we get that CGM, not only the leadership, but 10% extra boost, it'll be ridiculous how high this unit can hit for an AoE breath.
Okay. Any sort of counters to Graynarl so far?
Yeah, just use KSS. They're both weak to Sizz.
What about
Bang,
Stella?
Shit, I don't actually know what Stella's weak to.
No, her usage, like using Stella against Graynarl. She says.
Oh yeah, she will pretty much, if you have leadership and a good roll, she'll pretty much one-shot either of the dragons, I think. Like, they're not super tough to take out.
I'm considering giving her, a little bit of agility, at least a single agility roll on her weapon, but mostly sticking to the damage. Looks like the damage is significantly more important, especially because there's no base roll for damage on the claw. Is it a claw? It's a nail claw thing. It's effectively a claw. Yeah, it's not like what's her face had. I think Deborah had a claw that counted as an axe.
No, it was a claw.
It was 22 attack, though, wasn't it?
No. It's agility and attack.
Okay, never mind. I think we've had a fan that counted as an axe, then.
We did have a fan that counted as an axe.
Yeah. Let me try to think, then. I would probably... It's unfortunate that it's, 3% heal? So if you're not so big on using... I mean, that's not the worst thing ever. If you wanted something that you could roll all agility on while still getting 3% heal at base, you have an option now. You technically could roll this for that, but assumably it sucks that it doesn't have the damage as the base for the weapon, is what I'm trying to say, and it has heal instead. So yeah, you probably want to get as high percents as you can on the thing. But yeah, I think Stella's great. She can kite. But she doesn't... She has a single target. She doesn't have the, the line AoE cleave. Which gives her less range.
Yeah, she is also very fast. So she's about 42 agility points faster than Graynarl. And of course, if you're using her, she's probably at 4 or 5 Awaken. And Graynarl, most of the time, you're going to see him at 1, maybe a little bit higher. So she's going to very easily outspeed him. Maybe with the exception of someone putting like Beastmaster Claw on him. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very fast. But yeah, I do think her main downside is the fact that she is only single target, so you're using her like I used to use Dimension Dragon, where she's purely there to assassinate a Sizz weak unit. And if that's what you need, then that's great. But less of a put her in your team every single match and she'll do work regardless. More of a I'm targeting Alina. I don't want to have to, bring confusion or multiple breath units and spell. I just want one unit that Alina runs up, she gets blasted into oblivion, and I don't have to worry about that in my game plan. Then Stella is great for that.
Okay. So do we have to look out for her this week, or?
If you're running like duel, that's always something duel has to watch out for, is any new Frizz or Sizz unit.
But she's martial.
Oh, she's martial.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about that. Okay, so yeah, I guess she's.
It's
not
almost
an
the other
Elena.
way
Actually,
around. You kind of
yeah.
have to be cautious about your, don't rush in with Stella thinking you're gonna kill Dole. Yeah, you gotta wait a one-shot Dole. No, you don't.
I was thinking she was spell. Honestly, she just seems like she should be.
She should be.
So,
Her ability
yeah,
is
she's
martial.
So, I take back every good thing I said about her.
Well, I mean, she could be boosted by Dolmega's leadership.
Yeah, she's purely there to stomp on some dragons, I guess. DLTF, Graynarl, Barbarous, regular old human DL.
I mean, you run Dragon, let's say Dolmega's leadership. You bring her on the team, you bring KSS. You could wipe out Sizz weak and neutral opponents like it's nothing.
There's no way you're prepared.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, yeah, she's even more specialized than I originally thought. Because I'll bring KSS almost every match. Like, Sizz is a really strong element, but part of that is also his ability to hit AOE. Having KSS and Stella means that you got to be facing at least probably 3 Sizz weak units to really take advantage of both of them, and none of those 3 can be Alina or Duel, who are the most common of the Sizz weak units, probably. Maybe. Yeah, probably. They run a lot, so.
I would have preferred it if Stella had like 4 range and blowback. Like where she blows herself back. Rather than 3 movement, 3 range. 2 movement, 4 range would have been cool with the blowback. She would have hid behind a pillar, attack someone, and then jump back. That would have been kind of like, for Valencia, but better. That would have been interesting. But the way she is currently, as long as there's no pillar blocking her, she could do the whole kiting thing just fine. So that's what I want to see is her being used in a map that's kind of open enough that she could move somewhere. She attacks someone and then hops back out of danger. So sounds like you could do a lot with that. But that also might be a detriment. But you at least know she's going to jump back, right? It's not a chance she will. She will.
Yeah.
So.
And, she's going to. Also, she does have really good HP. Like, for being a little tiny fairy.
Heck, you could give her a sword if you don't care about her damage, and she would have even more. She's, martial. She doesn't scale off of anything, really, other than percentages, potency, brilliance.
So, well, let's put Bard. Who's someone, because she's got great. I'm still getting used to the 130 numbers.
Oh, she can't attack through a pillar. That's what Nocturne said. Because I was saying you wouldn't want to use her if there's a pillar. That's why I was talking about an open map, and then Nock popped in and said she can't attack through a pillar. So there you go.
That's very unfortunate.
But I thought she was forward range, kind of like what Carver is. I could double check. I'm pretty sure I've attacked through pillars. with her, so I think that info he put was wrong. At least on the battle road, I attack through pillars, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I take it back. She doesn't have great HP. She's got a little bit more than Nira. I'm just not. I wasn't taking into account rank 8 with the numbers all being higher now.
Yeah, I do remember her because I used her on the battle road. She can attack through pillars. I was just saying that it's better to use her on a map where there isn't a pillar, because sometimes if you're blocked by the pillar, you can't reach the enemy with a 3 range attack. You could only reach them with, say, like a Valencia or something, right? So so if there's no pillar, she attacks someone and then jumps back.
Over the pillar.
Oh, she doesn't jump over the pillar, no. But if there's a pillar behind her, that's one way to keep her in place, I guess. She can't even jump through an ally, so if the ally is behind her, she won't jump through them.
That's kind of interesting.
So that's one way to keep her forward if you need it. Have her forward. Different options. I think she'll be a good arena unit, I think. Especially because people already use Marshall. She'll just fit right in with the Dole teams. I know Sorrow has made his way, but you could probably still put Sorrow without a leadership on that same Marshall team and get away with it. He's just that good. We do have Judge and Vosh here. Judge has not said anything the whole time he was here, so it's almost like we haven't had a guest. I was only planning, I thought we'd do an AW week, but only take one guest at a time, but neither of you have said anything, so technically you haven't taken up airtime. But if you guys want to chime in on anything that you wanted to mention about the week, arena, units coming out for arena, other things, you could mention something now if you'd like.
Well, hey, I appreciate you noticing that I was here. That makes me feel good on the inside.
Yeah, we noticed since you were here, but I just wanted to give you a chance to talk now, at least, because you haven't said anything. Now that you've talked, Vosh, we can't have Judge talk, because we're only allowing one guest per week now, so that's the rules.
Tough cookies, Judge. I'm sorry, buddy. Well, it would be, great to be able to talk about what arena is actually going to be, but unfortunately for this week and last week, the devs aren't letting us know what's going on, unfortunately.
Last week wasn't as bad as this week. This week's even worse. I really don't know. Like, last week it was like last minute, but now this week we completely don't know, I think.
Yeah, we're going to find out at like 7:59 or something, right?
Well, whenever arena reset comes around here.
Yeah,
the weekly arena reset. What's that, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock? I can't remember. It's a bit before updates are.
Yeah, it's like, 3 hours before update?
But updates are no longer on Sundays, so there's that.
True. I actually like that you guys were going over Diamond Slime versus Grey Gnarl earlier. What do you guys think about Barbaros, though?
Me not even asking about him tells you all you need to know about him.
Fair enough.
He's really, really hampered by being mono Zam. It's very, I think he's like a great tool to have for people that do like running the dragon teams. But
yeah, I know a couple of them.
Yeah, but he's mono Zam. He doesn't get 20% breath potency from his Awakening 1, which most other good dragon breaths do. And he I think that's really it. One thing he does have going for him is if for some reason you got him to Awakening 3, He serves as a pretty solid defensive unit. Still, has that issue of mono Zam, so he's, you can just put a heavy resist unit in range and then he can't do anything about it. But he's got that heal plus breath potency. I think 2 stacks of breath potency when he goes below half health. So it's pretty solid. And of course, he also has Zam Force. So if for some reason, which is unfortunate because it's almost counter to what he's best at. Like because of his Awakening 3, he works. You'd want him to work well on defense. But then Zam Force, you want to stack as many units with Zam damage as possible. But if you stack a bunch of units with one element, it's very easy to counter it as a defense team. So he's got a whole bunch of issues that are kind of hard to make work. And isn't
You could just be putting Zam Force on units that are weak to Zam.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely
might be the better
an
defense
option.
strategy than just giving units that are all Zam and running mono Zam on the entire team.
Oh yeah,
Just give units that are weak Zam, like Leary Lout and stuff.
Yeah, weak or neutral. You could
neutral. Yeah,
really with him, like say if you're running both Grail and Barbarous on a defense team, you've got a 20% reduction to 2 elements. That could hamper some people's ability, to counter your units.
What are Zam units usually weak to anyhow?
Zam units are usually weak to, let's see,
Frizz? No.
I almost want to say Sizz.
Yeah, because there's a lot of Dark Lords or Zam units, and they're typically weak to Sizz.
Some of them are weak too.
Shunkel is weak to Zap.
Zap Whoosh.
Is that what
Zap
Valencia is weak
like
to? Zap Whoosh?
I mean, I'm trying to think.
And then,
Spooky
of course,
Valencia is weak to Crack Sizz. Some others
Crack
are
Sizz.
weak
Yes,
to Zap
Sizz.
Whoosh, I think.
Sizz, most Zam users are weak to Sizz.
Yeah, it looks like Sizz. I'm going through all my stuff now.
So if I ran Zam weak enemies, but also ran Sizz on my side and had Zam Force for a defense team, it would bait them to using Zam units, and I would also have the Zam Force to counteract it a little. It's not too big of a thing, but it's pretty much like the only niche he could run on defense. I can't really think of much for the guy. So yeah, I mean, if you're a Dragon lover, go for it. That's what I would say. And he might scale well if there's good, powerful Zam units in the future, or people that need Zam res. He's your guy. Yeah. But for now, he's not used for much. He's super niche, and if you like dragons, get him.
And you have enough gems.
So you got to whale or you got to be Trop, I guess, Lucky bastard.
He's picking them up off single tickets over here.
Yep.
Pretty jelly about that, not gonna lie.
I would say it's good for the guild, but he's not going to use it in guild v guild, so it doesn't really matter. Just a little bit of family master rank there. And hubris.
I might use it in guild v guild. I think Pack's the last person who should be telling people what to use on defense.
I didn't say if you'd be using it on
defense.
defense. I meant offense. But are you going to put it on your defense team? We're literally just discussing how he could be used, in theory.
I might at least put Grey Gnarl.
So you won't use him?
He seems to have really good synergy with Sorrow.
Oh, okay. I could see that.
At least I think. At least on the defense, because Sorrow's already annoying enough to kill.
Yeah, you just got to get your Grey Gnarl to 5 awake, and then he would be annoying to kill.
Yeah, or build him with a bit of HP. He does a bit of damage. But yeah, I think the dragons can be decent. I think there'll be testing this time, so it'll be good. Because it's between like the dragons, there's the Queen Slime Bloom maybe, or maybe that's coming later. There's Diamond Slime. So it's gonna like I'm gonna see.
Okay.
So here's another one. What do you think we'll be seeing a lot of as far as defense on GVG with these new units that are coming, these new units that just came out and stuff?
Diamond
I feel
slime.
like we might, see a nice bit of diamond slime.
But there's
in the more
ways
whaley
to handle
clans.
him as horrendous as he will be. There are measures we can take, and we'll be all right. I think as a guild. But yeah, I think diamond slime, max awake Graynarl could be annoying, just like a DLTF would be. I mean, my box can't even handle a max awake DLTF. I think very well. So stuff like that for sure.
Yeah, I know. I kind of got surprised with the number of Sorrow plus Rose Guardian combos we saw. It ended up not being too great, but it was, there was a nice bit of them.
Yeah, and that's pretty much entirely from one guild. But that's the only one that matters.
Yeah,
Yep.
I guess so, huh?
Banshee thinks we're going to see a lot of young Terry.
Good, yeah.
Really?
And
Maybe more
I
people have
don't-
max awake. Who knows?
yeah, I don't know how difficult he will be to handle. Like, I don't think I've faced any high awake ones in regular arena. But the low awake ones, they feel mostly like Seraphine. Like he's almost worse than Seraphine, not even counting the 60 weight, but his agility boost and move means that he usually just runs in the middle of all his allies and buffs, and then he just gets cleaved down because he's made some super convenient grouping of enemies to target. And that's been my general impression.
Too.
Is that like the most annoying thing he does is dodge an attack because he's got really high agility, but he just doesn't, like, I don't know. I haven't been had any trouble with the low awake ones, and even the low awake ones I often leave till last to kill. So I don't think the high awake will make any real difference. In terms of he's still going to die to a whole team attacking him. And he's not, the high awake doesn't let him buff them any more than he already did at one awake. So that's been my impression. Maybe I do know he was highly rated on the JP.
It was a review. It was
tier
one
list.
guy. It was one guy's video, so I don't know how reliable it is. Everyone seems to have their own tier list, and that was his guild v guild one. So I was kind of disappointed
so
to see
maybe-
there's no community curated like a JP tier list for guild v guild. You saw one for like low awake and high awake, and that's it. That's all you see. Like two tier lists, and that's it. One's low awake and one's max awake, should I say?
Yeah, I do think max, like literally only 5 awake Graynarl, I think is where he gets really difficult to handle. I don't. Let's see. So, he is weak to charm. He's immune to confuse. So yeah, there's not really a great way of handling Graynarl other than killing him. So I do expect him to cause trouble at mainly max awake. I think he needs that dragon scale to really be difficult to kill. He does have the high HP, so he might be bulky enough to survive 3 hits at 4 awake, depending. But yeah, I think there's going to be a huge difference in facing a 4 awake Grey Gnarl and a 5 awake one, just because of that dragon scale adding so much to his survivability. And
I mean, if
him
you're at
being-
4 wake and you've already gotten the fragment, wail out. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Just you have our permission, wail.
It's a big difference between the two, and he's weak to poison, which is not arena relevant, except for Eric, doing his shenanigans, and he's weak to charm, which we don't have a way to guarantee charm. So there's not he doesn't have an Achilles heel like, say, Fallen Angel Corvus or Dragonoid Baron, where they just fold to Baramos.
I was gonna say, one thing that was interesting about the Sorrow Rose Garden combo from Starfall last season, it was fairly decent. It wasn't that scary though. It was fairly decent in the sense that it protected Sorrow the first turn, sure. But what if they had just put Sorrow and Mam instead? With a bit different positioning so that you can't paralyze the Sorrow until you get rid of the Mam. I think that would have been scarier.
It has its pluses and minuses, because we did see that combination a few times. And there's pros and cons to either one. The main, of course, the biggest difference is that not only can you not paralyze Sorrow when he's guarded by Rose Garden, you can't hit him.
Yeah.
So that was the paralyzing Sorrow isn't the only way to deal with him. It's just one of the best.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that he doesn't get evasion until after his action makes him the second best option, just to burst him down.
Oh, true, yeah.
And Rose does prevent both of those options, whereas Mam only prevents one, but she's better at presenting that one and probably presents overall, better kit on the rest of it. It's just, auto cover is a very strong ability.
Yeah.
I do think that Rose Garden is a top defense unit, but you have, it's got to be that important to protect, that unit. He really forces you to adapt, whereas a lot of A ranks don't. It's really just Mam and Rose Garden that force you to adapt to what you're facing. The rest of them, you can pretty much handle same as anything else. Next exception might be say Bulldozer, where if you let him survive turn 1, he's going to act first or close to it on turn 2, which can be very same as any of the agility boost units, can be difficult to manage.
Yeah, those ones that switch agilities have definitely tricked me before. It's not easy.
So, Seb did mention that Kid Terry, if he boosts Sorrow, then Sorrow may go for the Grease Lightning on duel instead of the Discontinuum, which can mess up throw a wrench in your plans based on the different positioning.
Oh, because that one also boosts. Boost spell and fizz. And discontinue already hits really hard, so I don't. Oh, that's what I was saying. Grease lightning, like if you can kill Duel with the B, so he'll stay further back. Yeah, I mean that's valid.
I expect to see the most difficult to handle defense units being High Awake Grey Gnarl, High Awake Diamond Slime. Uh,
Yeah, that seems about
I
right.
don't know if Godwin's designed as a defense unit. I just don't know if he'll actually be enough of a threat to be one. But
How many
we'll
awakenings are
find
people
out.
going to bother to pull on a guy that they're never going to use outside of GVG?
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
I guess at least Rose Garden, people pull hard for Sorrow, so they automatically got him, right?
Yeah,
He's
pretty
like,
yeah,
he's a
much.
pretty
yeah.
decent thing.
That's what I assume. I don't think anyone was out there like Metazoa, pulling specifically for Rose Garden like Meta did for Flazzard. And then they're just like, oh look, I coincidentally got a Sorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like back when Baramos came out and people were more excited for Boreal than they were for Baramos. And now,
Oh, man.
and now Baramos is actually like super good because Confusion is so strong against certain key units.
Yep. Yeah, Baramos got a massive boost with his bloom.
Yeah, it definitely
It
helped
being
too.
it being breath is just like icing. There's currently nothing that really counters breath. We are getting that Gildiga coming up in another 14 days or however close we are to JP now.
The funny thing is that it can just be countered by Sorrow. Because even though Sorrow's thing is a spell, so it should technically counter it, Sorrow's also immune to stun, and Gildiga's weak to frizz, so people will probably just use that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's definitely a weakness. And I think there's I don't know which all units are immune to stun, but
Mostly beasts, so I
Sorrow's
guess
the big
even
one.
the cat from Arena, if you wanted to.
We'll bring in Kaleidocat to GVG, and Kaleidocat's not bad in GVGs. Kind of has an interesting facet of being fast, having Magic Veil, and having a really strong Frizz single target. So he can do some cool stuff for 50.
Yeah, I think Shark I used the last time and did pretty decent, so it's something, for sure. But yeah, I don't know, I honestly think, despite what Pac's saying, I think even though these new dragons are a bit slower, I think Dragon Team is still fully viable for offense and defense, especially with the amount of Baramos you see in GVG. You bring in a Dragon Team and Baramos is automatically a non-issue.
Yep.
And
Yeah, it's a very dragons being immune to confusion is a really about the best Baramos counter there is. Immune to confusion and neutral to bang, and
This is where
high
Afro would
Whoops.
pop in and say DLTF is not actually a dragon, therefore is immune to confusion or something like that.
Oh, especially if he was talking to Nib.
yeah. But it's a good thing because now Nib knows that, so we appreciate Afro.
And we,
Oh yeah,
Contribution.
good guy
we
Afro.
totally know that he didn't know it before. There's no way he could have possibly have known, right?
No.
Yeah, it looks like a dragon. It's called Dragon Lord, so that's enough to fool Nib.
No. Let's see.
Don't
No,
hurt me,
I'm
Nib.
just
It's
kidding in
just a
case he
joke. It's
watches
just
this
a joke.
podcast. It's a joke.
Just a joke. Pranks, bro.
I think he gets it because there's sarcasm in my tone there. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, Ace has mentioned we could see Mage Corvus in GVG, and in fact, I guarantee we see
When are
Mage
we gonna get
Corvus
him though?
in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think
So
it's
So
2 weeks.
GVG's already gonna be live by then, or
We don't
did
know
they
for
even show
sure.
the schedule for that? I know they didn't for regular arenas. Is it on?
let's see. 1, 2. We might get him before you have to lock team. It'll be very close, assuming it goes back to the week 3 and 4 schedule.
Is it? Why did they do the? Why did they alter the schedule temporarily?
I think they altered it so that it wouldn't be rank 8 offenses against rank 7 defenses.
Oh, I wasn't even paying attention to that.
Because
Oh, yeah,
if they did the
hindsight, that makes
normal schedule, we would have set our defenses at rank 7 and then gotten rank 8 and then been able to, take stuff instantly to 130 with EXP scrolls and had a massive advantage on offense. Which that's my assumption of why they changed it. I haven't seen that confirmed, but it just, it helps give a clearer picture of how your defense is performing when it's going up against a comparably powered offense, not one that's got a massive boost because of the new content.
Okay. Yeah.
Any blossoms? Okay, so blossoms. The big one I think is going to be Malroth. Malroth.
It's like no guild tournament schedule yet.
Yep. Let's see. Trying to think of what the. It'll be like KM. I don't know the exact timing on the blossom. So Malroth is expected 1.5 anniversary, and I do expect that to come into play, both offense and defense, to be very useful. Especially Sorrow. If you can get him to outspeed Sorrow, he can hit him hard and paralyze with his new 3 range, 3 across attack. Purvis, yes. Purvis is also coming out. Purvis is another excellent Sorrow counter because his bloom gives him +2 agility and attack to start out.
At battle start too, right? Not turn start. It's battle start.
Yeah, at battle start. Yep, at battle
just
start.
like Elena. Okay.
Elena and Giuliante.
Right.
So he'll be able to outspeed Sorrow even at 1 awake or 0 awake, and then hit him really hard with he's got the zap version of Giuliante's attack. So he'll be able to either proc his immortal or actually kill him if one of the first 2 hits crit, and he has that 11% crit chance. So he's got a really, effectively whatever 2, that's like a 19% chance or so, give or take, something to one-shot a Sorrow, and 100% chance to take him down to his proc. So
does he have any minor crit runes, or just the one major one?
Just the one major one, from what people have said. I think the only unit that we know of with minor crit nodes is Elena, because Nightclubber, my assumption is he's also only getting one major crit node, because people have been saying he's 16% crit, which would just be one major crit node.
Dimension Dragon, Forest Dragon. I think
Dimension Dragon and Forest Dragon are they're ways out, but you can talk about them.
Yeah, they're well. How far are they away now that we're getting caught up? They're maybe like 1 or 2 months away at most. So I'll just add a quick blurb. We won't be able to use them for this GVG, obviously. Dread is a maybe, but I think I think I've seen videos of Forest being used. In theory, he doesn't seem that good because he has terrible resistances and weak to Frizz and Sizz. But depending on who you're trying to protect with him, maybe, or maybe it's still a stretch. I'm still seeing more value in Dimension because he's like a mini duel or a budget duel, whatever you want to call him. But I think Forest has potential. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think the way to look at Forest is he's a 50 weight version of Rose Garden, but he does come with, of course, the increased stats and, more importantly, a 4 range attack with his new Bloom Breath. So he threatens a larger area, and it's an A rank whoosh ability instead of a B rank. So I think he's going to be more difficult to ignore. Like, you'll have to handle him the same way, but you can't just leave whatever you want in his attack range and be safe, because he's going to hit pretty hard still. So you will have to worry about whoosh resistance when dealing with the Forest Dragon. But that 15 weight over Rose Garden is a fairly significant cost as well, so you have to weigh that cost benefit against each other. Dimension Dragon I'm excited to use just because of the range. Like, having another 4 move unit and him gaining he's gaining 2 squares of effective range from his Bloom, which is fantastic. Like, a lot of units have gained 1 square of range where they get an extra move or a longer attack, but Dimension's getting 2, so it's just leaning into what he was kind of intended to be, of someone who can reach everywhere and chase units down, and then does have that evasion to help him a little bit, because he was so incredibly squishy. He was so difficult to use once 3-turn Arena came out. Yeah. Because he just, if he takes any hits, he just dies.
Yeah. Does this Bloom give him any HP? I forgot. Like, does he have the HP node? I hope he does.
I think he gets 100 HP. Like the two large nodes and the 2 standard.
Yeah,
so I think he gets 150.
Okay. So that's something. That's the boost. It could help.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the same, or maybe slightly better than Boreal got, and it really let Boreal go full HP. I think the main concern, I guess, is just going to be agility. He'll probably be slow if you like. Mine's only 1 awake, so if I build him full HP so that he can not be made of paper, then he's not outspeeding most units. But you being a small pathetic animal is not as much of a concern in 3-turn Arena as it used to be when he came out.
Okay. See if there's any comments since earlier here. I've probably missed a few. Let's see.
Well, the funny thing is, like, 15 minutes here, we'll be able to tell them what week it is.
Is it? Oh. Yeah.
About 20 minutes. Yeah.
To answer Dapper Pickle, Dimension Dragon gets a T-shaped Bang Breath. So,
A large T.
one of
Yes.
the large T, 3 range, and then 3 across. So, which was very good because between the 4 move and the new T-shaped attack, he can reach a lot of spaces, whereas he was really hampered by not having a T or a Fan Breath A rank attack initially, because it turned out like a lot of arena maps just made him, almost useless. The columns tend to be placed exactly 3 range away, which is great for KSS and Queen Slime, but terrible for Dimension. But now with him getting that extra move, he'll now have a lot more options open, and the more flexible attack range. So it'll be real fun experimenting with him, even if he's pretty likely still to die. He'll be less likely with that bonus HP, evasion, not being as worried about making him fast, just running full HP on him. Would be nice if he gets a passive Bang Force. I would love if they'd give more dragons the AoE one. I think Halberd gets personal Sizz Force, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, Halberd gets personal Sizz Force so that he can benefit both his physical and his breath. But I'd love to see more of the Grey Gnarl and Barbarous passive forces, where it's in an area and you can play around with boosting your whole team for offense and
That's
defense.
great. I really like that.
It feels like a mechanic that dragons should get, and I think Celery's right. You can definitely afford to, after the bloom, make Dimension Dragon more beefy, especially with how they release these 2 dragons, somewhat slow speed, more beefiness. It opens up that direction because, what do you call it? While we're used to, I guess Blitz isn't as good in 3-turn arena anyways, but yeah, now it's actually pretty good because they know dragons don't miss anyway, so I guess they're giving them more HP, right? Instead of agility. Yeah.
So on the
Kind of
topic
sucks
of
a little bit for Great Dragon, who's gonna have to skip his first turn, but in the long run, I think it's still okay. I don't know, what do you think?
while we're on the topic of bloomings and dragons and everything, we know that everybody's favorite Dread Dragon has a bloom that's coming up, and he's got the double Sizz Fireball for his move. And we know Sizz is a very good element for Arena in particular. Do you think we'll be seeing some of him in the future when he gets bloomed? Or a lot of him, or none of him? What do you think?
I mean, you could pull Sorrow with Dolmagus, and if this guy has, 2 hits on him, even with neutral, that might kill a few of them.
Yep.
So not a bad option.
I don't think it's gonna be enough. It hits pretty close to DLTF, so neutral is gonna be like 770 or something like that.
Total or per each ball?
Total.
Total. Okay.
Total.
So your individual hits are only going to be like 385, and that's not gonna, with the standard HP boost, that's not gonna pull. Plus that isn't gonna finish a Sorrow. I think. Like I mentioned, and Trop mentioned, the Dread Dragon Bloom was more to benefit people who are already running the Dragon comp, where you can just slot in. I think he's going to serve a a similar role to what I had said for Stella before I realized she was Marshall. Like, Dread Dragon will probably be able to one-shot Alina. He can definitely one-shot Duel. He can one-shot Dragon Lord. He's going to be, and he's also very fast. And depending on your luck, you might have a 4 or 5 awaken one since he's been in Gen Pool.
Did we have people quit over pooling like a lot of Dread Dragons on value banners?
We did. Yep. Yeah. Oinkaments.
Oh yeah, that's what his name was.
So. There's definitely people that probably have him high awaken, and I think he's a solid, like counter pick type if you're targeting something, but also just a great option if you're running a dragon team, having strong single target sizz damage rather than at this.
Sorry, I switched to the DQ9 music because Nock wanted it, but this one almost sounds like Pokemon more than it does Dragon Quest, the style of it.
Yeah. So, having a strong single target might be preferable a lot of times over Halberd, where you've got at this point a fairly weak AoE. Even though with his bloom, it might get back to usable standards again. Like that would be the decision is if you're bringing a Halberd or Dread Dragon for your sizz needs on your dragon team. But if you're thinking, one-shotting a Duel, one-shotting an Alina, then Dread Dragon definitely has the advantage there.
I think a lot of people are going to be excited about being able to one-shot Elena when that thing drops. Because, I mean, she seems to be a big problem for, newbies and stuff like that. Like, I only see whining about Elena and, she's so fast and she does so much damage. I mean, obviously not an issue for players like us, but I think that is going to make a lot of people happy.
She dodged 5 attacks and then crit my team. What?
So yeah, they'll finally have a viable strategy for not having to think any, while playing the game. They just had to wait longer,
Yeah, pretty much.
So it was gate kept for them for a little while. For them, or did they gatekeep themselves with their, just
not getting better.
Sure.
Not getting better.
Not getting better, not listening to what everybody said constantly.
We call that the PvPenis strat.
PvPenis strat. The puny penis?
Puny?
Yeah. That's their strat is try everything to get better guild results. One exception, getting better at playing the game.
I roasted Kage last night over that. I totally roasted him over that. He's like, he's secured everything, and the other guilds have to look out for him, and I'm like, except you haven't gotten any better at the game, so I'm not, Were you there for that, Trop? You were, weren't you?
I might have been, or I don't know, or I was at least
might have left before that.
thing.
Yeah, I think Nibs was there for that. I don't even remember what the conversation was. It's so late, and I was so fogged up. I can't remember. But I roasted him pretty bad. He had no response. I think I said the thing that's keeping you back in the game is your own skill level, so I don't have to do anything. Something like that.
He's trying everything to get more gems except getting better.
Yeah.
Getting better does help.
You do sound like
not-
Kage, your accent, so, you know, you might be the one to supersede him. You could be the new Kage, you know, the new and improved 2.0.
Nocturne did ask about Green Dragon in GVG.
He can't, yeah,
Uh,
go ahead.
I don't think he's gonna be useful in offense. I don't think he's strong enough to warrant use over other A ranks. He is potentially an option on defense. It's unfortunate that he can't one-shot a standard duel, but he's going to have a lot of HP. He's kind of like a Frizz version of Gigantus, where he's got an okay, decent damage as long as you're hitting at least non-resisted, but has a lot of HP and even has Dragon Scale, so probably pretty solid for defense, at least for if you're doing the max HP type strategy where you're just putting a whole bunch of beefy bruisers and telling the enemy just come have a slugfest and try. You may not win, but you're pretty likely to take some points or some turns. I think he's a solid option on defense, but offense, I don't think he has the damage or the range to be top tier compared to, say, Boreal or Flazzard, or even the flexibility like Bulldozer. Like there's a good number of really strong A ranks. I don't think he quite reaches that level for offense. And Dapper Pickle did point out Flazzard as an excellent option for finishing off Sorrows, thanks to his A rank ability being 5 hits and hitting neutral on him. And Flazzard also starting slow, so you're very likely to finish him off and then go early the next turn with his passive agility boost or on attack agility boost.
Alright. Well, I think, isn't Green Dragon multi-hit?
No.
It's single hit?
It's a single, yeah.
It's a single fireball, okay.
Yeah.
I thought he was actually going to be stronger than he ended up being, so I was a little bit disappointed. I heard
He doesn't hit very hard.
We knew he wouldn't one-shot Dole, I think, other than when there's, a sort of family week and he's not part of the family. It's a non-demon family week, and then maybe Dole's HP is going to be low enough that he can one-shot. But other than that, maybe no. And if he had, multi-hit, then he would have been something for Sorrow at low HP. Like, if you knock him down low enough, and then he would have came in for the finish. But, yeah, no. There's not much use for the Green Dragon. The Dragon Skill's nice.
Maybe defense?
definitely.
Yeah. You don't really have that on an A rank, and not a lot of A ranks have that much HP.
Yeah, I think for just A ranks in general. But what do you think about using one like an A week? What do you think of his chances during an A week?
Pretty good. Why not? Yeah.
Right up
Certainly,
there
if
with
you
Boreal.
were up against a team that was like Green Dragon on an A and below week, and they had Green Dragon, Gigantes, you'd have a hard time taking out that team. It'd be pretty annoying, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
on defense, you could make everyone's life a living hell. There's some uses on offense, I'm sure. It's viable.
Oh, I'm
We
curious to know
should
on
have been
defense
getting an
auto.
A and below week, but again, like I said, the arena stuff has been all kinds of mixed up lately.
I'm
every
curious
which
on
way.
defense auto if the new nature A rank, like if you put it beside Sorrow, if it's gonna give Sorrow automatically Frizz Force, that'd be kind of nice. I don't know if it's needed on GVG defense though.
You don't know what's needed on GVG? The dragon skill?
No, the new nature A rank, like because he has almost no range, right? So his auto might be him backing up and giving somebody
What's
Frizz.
weird about his what is it? He can get his cover to 2 stacks, unlike what's his face? Rose Garden, but it takes him 2 turns to get there.
Oh,
But
interesting.
here's the thing, it's him getting in range for an attack. Is he still going to be next to allies after he's done so? I don't know. Maybe if you gave him like Swoosh or Sizzle, he might be in range of allies after attacking.
Has to be physical.
Huh?
Yeah, we
Oh,
thought
it's
it
only
has to be-
physical?
Yeah.
So yeah, if there's ever a ranged physical attack on a scroll that you could give to him, like a very far-ranged attack,
Well, he has shield tackle. I mean, it's not the
it's
best.
good, but he has to hop in. He might not be next to his allies anymore.
Yeah. Or if he uses Atomic Blade. I'm surprised he has Atomic Blade. It's actually a pretty strong move, but it has no range.
You could hit the corner. Technically, it's just in front. It's not really...
Yeah.
It's not targeted on the middle tile. You could use the edge tiles too. So it's a strange ability for sure. But yeah, if you could get his thing going, his cover going, and an ally was there, it would be effective. But it just there's just no way, you know, to know if that would happen. It would be hard to set that up right. Very
That's,
niche for sure, and there's a lot of weaknesses involved with it, trying to get it to work.
All right, boys,
Yeah.
it's time.
Is he fast? Oh, let's check. Is he fast enough to even, what do you call it? Is he fast enough to get the cover up before the enemy attacks? I don't think so, right? I mean, I have him at rank 5, so I don't know how fast the guy gets. And he's only 1 awake for me, so... He was like 265
limit.
agility for me, huh?
No weight limit.
Oh,
no, it's
no
weightless
weight
week.
limit. No weight
Weightless
limit.
week, boys.
Weightless week?
Damage down 30%, HP up 30%.
Okay.
So just a regular standard weight.
Well, that in mind, the 240 permutations are gone. Celery, you know, this is the most important week to get permutations for. Do I bring Saber Cub? Everyone's been
Yes.
asking. Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure. Because we can't bait without Saber Cub, can we?
Even more importantly, it unlocks Sharkai's full power. He can now run 60, 60, 60, 60.
Literally.
Oh my god. Yeah. He can now run
And,
300.
you know, he might not like for him. But yeah, okay, weightless week. What do you guys think? Just really quick to wrap it up, like what kind of teams are we gonna see? We're still gonna see. I feel like you're still gonna see, or you should still. It should still be viable to use Red Robin Hood, as he's an A rank that you could use any week, regardless of weight. I think. But other than that, what do you think here? It's gonna happen. Educate us, come on. It's your
I
time
think
to
we're,
shine, Trop.
If it's like
Go for it.
any other week, we're gonna see a lot of heavyweights.
It's not any other week though. It's weightless week, and we've had a lot of new units since weightless week. The last one, I guess. And let's see what does the map look like? Anyone have a screenshot they could send to me?
Let me go in a fight.
See, I'll try. I'm gonna load up my game now.
I'm gonna send myself a screenshot then, so I could put it in. Update the thing here.
My number one question is always: is it a KSS map? Not for nothing. I think KSS Bloom, like adding that to my team so long ago, is like the thing that most impacted my increase of winning.
Listen to me, girl. You say you've never met a man who confessed
Yeah. Yeah, KSS is
Let me just.
had a really long reign as a top arena unit, and
This is different.
I'll send it in the guild chat here. Pack wants to grab it.
Why does my Zoom not work? What the hell?
Interesting though.
Yeah, it's different.
It's spelled dirty back.
I would say not a KSS map.
Let's see.
KSS can still do stuff, but he goes within
Guild
range.
chat. Let's see here.
It's like ancient magic.
That's right, Darkshine.
Trop can't center a screenshot, so I'm gonna have to definitely do this one myself too. Is this with your tablet or what is
It
this?
shows almost everything.
It's okay. It's okay. It's not viable for the stream, but it's the effort that counts. It's the attempt. I'll defend.
This is a
So
hood
yeah, it is a
screenshot.
I mean, you could still use KSS here. It's not the best KSS map. It's not bad.
Yeah, like I
It's
didn't
not
like
as bad as
that
last
map for KSS at all. This one is still usable, but he's definitely not like super busted like he is in some of them.
Oh sure, he's definitely not, but he's fine. I would totally use him.
It's still possible.
Like I could run a team of Sorrow, Valencia, even Dolmagus, Boton, KSS. I don't care. This is a pretty interesting map. You could bring Nocturnus if you wanted. It really depends who you're up against. Yeah, definitely though, Red Robin Hood still absolutely destroys on this map, I think.
Yeah, he's gonna like this map. He can pretty much get everywhere and reach everywhere too.
Yeah.
He can reach the back line from behind the pillar.
Celery, did you mention the whole Thunderbird thing for taking out low HP Sorrow or whatever?
nope. So, Thunderbird has a nice synergy with Greynarl, specifically with Zap Force, boosting his Zap spell. He's got that 4 move and good range on his Zap spell. Then it hits 4 times for brilliant damage. So he's one of the best options for finishing off a Sorrow, especially if you can combo him with Greynarl. But even without, he's going to do pretty solid damage. Probably kill him and has that bonus paralysis chance in the event that you're not able to kill him. You still have a chance of disabling him. So, pretty strong. I know Meta's done some stress testing, and he can get up to like 1080 as max damage, which I don't think counted Zap Force. So, there's still 20%, whether it be additive or multiplicative. There's still, I think, some room to even get it higher, but that was with 3 stacks of spell potency. So
So like
and-
unrealistic arena conditions.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's a specifically because of Sorrow. He's a very solid A rank to have in your arsenal. For when you're looking at how to handle Sorrow.
Maybe you let yourself fall in love with it, Shane.
Okay, let me see if I can't get this photo up onto here for the rest of us. But I might
This
have
week,
to edit the
Probably
map.
go ahead.
Tools, adjust, markup. Oh goodness, pen.
Yeah, that's right. Meta's gonna have some fun here.
You're gonna kill me, huh? He slipped up and said the name of the god who sorts me spell.
For a team for me this week, I'm probably just gonna mostly go with a full martial team with Sorrow,
Possible.
because it looks like no matter what you're gonna do, teams are gonna be kind of clumped, either around a pillar or on one side, which gives good movement, or it gives good formations to get like Fury in there and Metal Dragon and stuff. I mean, obviously they're not like the most, broken things, but with Duel's passive, and they're all pretty fast for the most part.
So I assume then that you would still use, you think something like Stella would be good if you're using Dole's passive. I mean,
Yeah,
leadership.
she is- that's right, it says martial, doesn't it?
Yep,
It's only single target though, right?
it's single target, but it's a nice stab of damage, I think. It blows her back, so she's relatively safe too if you want to use her getting up close, and then she runs away basically.
Kind of contends with a spot with KSS, honestly.
Yeah, KSS is
But if they
definitely
have-
better, but
Yeah, I mean, if they have like a lot of his weakness, it's worth considering. But I think for the most part, KSS, at least on like a week like this with a decent map, is going to be better than she is.
Now this thing of mine is gonna teach you a lesson. It's so huge it's shaking hands with my belly buttons, but I guess you noticed.
there we go. Alright, let's change this photo here.
If I were you, I wouldn't get so cocky just yet. I'm not done with you. I'm not done with you, Angel.
Someone has their media there in the background. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's Celery's favorite show.
It's a common choice.
Baby Celery, that is.
No way you could have ever cast that petrification spell on the entire city by yourself. It takes too much magic.
Petrification spell on the entire city.
Warriors!
Is this Owl House?
It's Bastard. It's new on Netflix.
Huh, okay.
It's completely inappropriate, but my 3-year-old loves it. So
Yeah,
I
I
mean-
could tell. I was surprised. I thought, that's a bit much, but,
You
everyone.
can see the visuals and stuff and get excited now. Colorful characters, what have you.
Oh, there you go. There's something. Yeah. That's as good as it's getting, guys. There we go. There's the map. I even outlined some of the tiles that you're missing because the screen cuts it off, but there's, to the back right, for some reason you could encounter tiles. There's pillars as well.
Pretty good.
There's 2 pillars in the middle, there's 2 on the sides, and that's pretty much it, I think. Yeah, you could definitely run with KSS still. I mean, is that what you guys are gonna do, KSS? Great Dragon could still work if you need to use Great Dragon, others as well.
Yeah, I use KSS almost every week if I can. I was actually sad because last week I couldn't find a lot of good opportunities to bring him.
Mm-hmm.
if you use Duel,
The
I
roster
used KSS a whole bunch last week, and you just use Duel to pull units around, and then you can jump into the spaces left behind. It
Well,
worked out.
in I guess I know what I'm gonna be trying now. So
Yeah, you could do that. You just can't run the claws on KSS, I guess, at that rate, right? You gotta run the lollipop or something.
but yeah, I think this made a nice conclusion to the week because we finally figured out what the damn thing was. So there we go. Now we know. Anything else you guys want to discuss before the podcast closes out here?
For a comment for the video, just tell people to fast forward to this point if they just want to hear about this week's arena.
They probably already know what this week's arena is. Like, they could just tune in, but I mean, yeah, we talked about what kind of stuff they'd see. It's what Sorrow, all the heavy hitters.
Yeah, we're gonna be seeing
Nocturnus. You're gonna see Nocturnus, Sorrow, Elena, and Dole. That's like
the dodge comp.
The meta comp, you know?
Yep.
Speaking of meta, when's Metazoa's podcast gonna start? Trop, you wanna advertise that?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's going to start next Saturday. So the 9th, I think it's going to be 7 p.m. EST. It's going to be good. We're going to be talking about meta, whale versus fish, GVG.
I mean, if you're really gonna kill me good, you need all those things, bro.
And taking a look at the new units and see how they are at full awakenings and at 1 awakening. And make a comparison.
Okay, so you're just gonna discuss the meta. It's
Yeah.
the meta inside the meta.
The
Meta
with
breaks down the meta. Metazoa's the meta. Meta something.
Metabots.
We're getting what's from meta in the chat. Celery is gonna teach his kids a lesson with his belly button. I'm not gonna question it. It's canon. It's happening. What are you gonna do about it? Anyway,
Somebody call CPS.
they're doing weird things over there in what is it? Rhode Island, Vermont, Michigan, Pennsylvania. I don't know. Not Michigan, sorry, but like Pennsylvania. Where are you at, Celery?
They have like every part of the country.
There's one. What state is Boston in? Massachusetts.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll ever need to go.
Yeah, Massachusetts.
Yeah, there we go.
His power has increased through the ages. No one knows what he's doing now. I did hear that a few years ago.
But
he
yeah,
used his
there you
own.
go. So anything you want to write in the comments here, Meta, about your podcast, or this is on the guild. You could hop in here and just say something really quick if you want. If you want to hop on really quick and just say your piece.
Hey, urchin!
So Saturday, and we don't know what was the time again? And you said Central. Was it Mountain Time?
I think EST.
EST. It's what was the EST?
7 p.m.
So it's gonna be 4 p.m. PST. There we go. That's the real time zone anyway. Yeah. Be sure to tune into that. Meta hasn't hopped in here or said anything, so I assume that's pretty much it. Did I miss anything in the comments? Panty Box has crit nodes. Queen Slime on the way. I think you guys addressed most of the comments from what I remember. Yeah, so anyways, guys, this has been the pack, and if you want to join the pack with the pack, go ahead and subscribe down below. If you like this video, then like this video. If you have something to say, write it down in the comments down below. If you want to support the Arena Watch podcast, go ahead and share. If you want to see more Arena Watch podcasts, hit that bell icon for notifications, guys. This ain't Twitch. Join Kage's gaming Discord server for all the best underground DQT conversations. And join my server for all the best DQT guides. Anyways, guys, this has been the pack. Signing out. Peace.
Hey!